I got this here tweet from David Hookstead. David is, let's see, what isn't it? Oh, okay, so you know him.
Yeah.
He says, Beto O'Rourke says people who currently own semi-automatic rifles should have them confiscated. 22 seconds. Let's hear what Mr. O'Rourke has to say.
I just took the position that may not be politically popular, may be too honest, that not only should no one be able to purchase an AR-15 or an AK-47 because they're designed to kill humans, and that high-impact, high-velocity round will just tear up everything inside. You'll bleed out before we can get you back to life. But I don't think that the people who have them right now in civilian use should be able to keep them. I just took the position.
Now, I wonder if there's more to that, but come on, this is the guy who said, heck yeah, we're taking your AR-15.
Yeah, it's not a shot.
So now apparently he's coming back out saying he's going to confiscate your weapons. Yo, they lie and they say, no one's talking about taking your guns. And they're like, oh yeah, we will.
I wonder what their internal polling shows.
It shows that so conservatives are overwhelmingly pro-gun and Democrats are split. So the overwhelming majority of this country is like, now we want to keep our guns.
Yeah.
Then they come out with these fake stats where they're like, most people support background checks. It's like, okay, yeah, we have those already. So what do you mean by that? And they're like, well, when we ask people, it's almost a Mount and Bailey. They'll say, well, no, we mean restricting private sales, requiring background checks there. And I'm like, that's not what you asked people in the poll. In the poll, it said, do you think there should be background checks for gun buyers? And they say, yes. You didn't get specific because at almost every single point of sale, there's going to be a background check. Then they say, no, we mean, shut up. You want a registry. That's what they want.
I just think Beto wants attention. Like, honestly, like the stunt that he pulled at the press conference, I'm sure you guys covered that, where he walked up and talked, and like, it's just a publicity stunt. And I don't like stuff like that being made political. Also, just for the sake of being fair, I also didn't like when Governor Abbott used the shooter's name immediately after it happened. Yeah. I didn't like that either. I thought we were all on the same page of like, we're not going to glorify these people.
I want to pull up this tweet from Jonathan Haidt, because we're fans of his assessment, but he has one of the worst tweets I've ever seen. He said, the best thing I've ever read about reducing gun violence is this 2017 essay by Nick Kristof, recently updated. If we take a public health approach modeled after cars, there is so much we can do even in a divided country. Wrong! And I'll tell you why. Here's what he's proposing. Background checks. 22% of guns are obtained without one. And you need a background check at any federally licensed dealer. There are some private sales. But whenever they're talking about these tragic events, they were purchased legally. Background checks didn't change it. Safe storage, trigger locks, as well as guns and ammunition stored separately, especially when children are in the house. Well, that's great. Someone kicks your door in the middle of the night and they're going to violate your wife, and you're like, hold on, I need to open the safe with the bullets, then open the safe with the gun, then load the rifle, and then I can save you, honey. End immunity for firearm companies. That's a subsidy to a particular industry. No, it isn't. It makes no sense. What are we going to do? If someone manufactures glass bottles and then someone uses that to crack someone over the head, you sue the bottle maker? It's like, you're not supposed to commit crimes. Protection orders. Keep men who are subject to domestic violence protection orders from having guns. We already do. Straw purchases. We already don't allow that. Ban bump stocks. Okay, that actually happened under Trump, but that makes no sense because full auto was never a big issue here. Ban under 21s, constitutional violation. Ammunition checks, experimentation with a one-time background check for anybody buying ammo. We already have background checks on people buying weapons. What would that accomplish? Research smart guns. Researching means nothing. Doesn't mean anything. So this is, for Jonathan Haidt to say that this is, even in a divided nation, we can do those things. No, you can't, because you have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not going to even pretend that I know, for the most part, what I'm talking about, because I'm not even an expert on guns. But I can look right away and be like, you have no idea what you're talking about, and that's the problem. The ignorant Democrat voters are voting for their feelings, and they don't know anything. We demand background checks. Okay, you win. Oh, you guys. All right, I agree. You win. We have background checks now. Next.
Well, they're like, these people committing crimes are breaking every law in order to do them.
Whoa.
Do we need more laws?
Yes. That will do it.
I think that'll fix it. Yeah. There was Marco Rubio got a bunch of heat, I think in like 2015, where Marco Rubio's claimed that no recent mass shootings would have been prevented by gun laws. And then Glenn Kessler of the Washington Post, the fact checker over there, not only didn't give it any Pinocchios, he gave it the rare Geppetto. I'm like, yeah, no, he's right. That all of the mass shootings wouldn't, none of that unfortunately would have been stopped. Choose my words carefully here. Marco Rubio said that none of those shootings would have been stopped by any sort of gun laws. And even the Washington Post said, yeah, no, he was right about that. And the problem is what you were saying is that people are just ignorant on the issue.
Yep.
Like my biggest thing too is also just asking questions about implementation.
Oh, I just say,
How do you
what's
do
an
that?
assault weapon?
Oh, I say that too.
The first thing I think of is if you ask the average Democrat voter like what they believe an AR-15 is, they're going to tell you that the AR stands for assault rifle, and they're not going to be able to define to you that they're going to think that it's full auto. I would guess that most of them think that's full auto.
So shout out to our good friend Ethan Klein. He was talking on H3, and he was mentioning something about people going in front of Abbott's house with AR-15s, and he goes, I'm like, is that what you think those things do?
Yeah,
No wonder you want to ban them.
Well, so
Scary.
I as someone who went to an art school, I am an expert on people who don't know anything about guns, but talk about them a lot. And so I remember I was having a conversation.
That's like embedding to research, like you're going.
It was like
in
a
the
case
tribe
study
method,
kind of thing.
Going
Yeah,
deep,
yeah. I
yeah.
went undercover.
Thanks for doing that for us.
You're welcome. So I was having a conversation with a friend, and she said to me that she was like, "Well, I don't think that we should have like these semi-automatics." And I was like, "Do you know what a semi-automatic?" She's like, "It's semi-fully. You pull the trigger and it sprays the bullets." And I was like,
Holy
No,
crap.
no, that's not what any of that means. And I tried to explain that was not the case, and their response was to just insist that we still didn't need to have them.
I wish I had the clip, but I remember
Cool
watching.
person in other ways, by the way,
Yeah.
but just was out to lunch on that one.
I remember watching.
Jesse Smollett is trending.
Probably because of that.
The
Is it
news
because of this
thing.
ad?
He's
Yeah.
got a,
Sorry, I interrupted you, though.
He's got a new show coming out on BET Plus. He's back at work.
Oh, nice.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Is that a joke?
he's directing and starring in a show about breakdancing or something like that. Something. It's like an LGBTQ plus film that BET Plus is making.
No, he's trending because everyone's saying Amber Heard is Jesse Smollett.
Jesse Smollett. I love it.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I forgot. Oh, no.
Totally derailed.
Last week I was watching MSNBC or one of your big cable news networks, and they were talking about gun control. And like your point, both of the anchors were like, yeah, we need gun control. Have you ever shot a gun? Like, no, I've never shot a gun. Have you shot a gun? No, never. I would never shoot a gun. So we have two people who've never shot a gun talking about gun control, clearly not knowing anything about the thing that they're trying to control.
Yeah, they need
Remember-
to learn how to control guns, those two people.
Remember,
There you go. Yeah.
remember the reporter who got PTSD from firing an AR-15?
An AR, yeah.
God.
And then
No.
people were
What was
replying with
that?
comments of like them training their young daughters
Yeah.
to
Like a
shoot
pink
it.
one?
And like, yeah, they're like, this is actually not that
There's a
hard.
video going viral of a little girl dual wielding, I don't know what she's got, 1911s, and she's using two fingers to pull the trigger. And then they're like, this is child abuse. Look what they're doing to that child. And I'm like, what? Well, the real problem is that they're having her fire two handguns simultaneously, which is just terribly inaccurate.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to do that. There's a meme I love, and it said, actually, maybe I can pull it up and try and find it. I posted it on Instagram. It was hilarious.
Does Jesse Smollett actually have a show? I
Yep.
can't tell if that was a
I
joke.
forget what the name of the. we kind of mentioned it in Podluck. It's
It's called MAGA Country, and
Yeah.
it's a
That's-
sitcom.
yes.
Being out of place.
about
in a new area.
about breakdancing MAGA supporters. That would be fantastic.
Who wander the streets of Chicago at 2 a.m. in
I
the
think-
cold.
I think
Here's the meme I got.
Oh, Lord.
It says children and firearm safety. Children and guns are simply a bad idea. Your average firearm is too unwieldy for a typical child to operate in a safe and effective manner.
That's right.
Children are much better suited to crew-served weapons.
Correct.
The semi-stationary characteristic of a mortar or heavy machine gun relies less on the child's physical strength and stamina, and also builds teamwork.
Yeah.
And it shows a little boy and little girl, and it shows like a machine gun and a mortar and a thumbs up.
I actually had the thought after.
I don't
Be a
think
bunch of
that
kids.
should be legal.
After this Texas
The meme or
Could they fly drones from an iPad?
Yeah.
They would be better at that.
I was
Yeah.
picturing like kids, third graders getting gun safety lessons
Yeah.
in government school. If it's going to be in the United States government schools, that like if a shooter comes in and kills the teacher, and there's 12 kids in the class ducking for their desks, and one of the kids sees the teacher's sidearm that the teacher was killed before it could use, the kid, what do you just want him to huddle there until he gets shot? No, I want the kid to pick up the gun and end the shooter. Like I don't care if they're 9 or 15 or 21. If they can do it, do it.
Well, let's phrase this in a legal manner. Children should be capable of defending their lives or the lives of others.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boom,
Just like
done,
anyone
nailed it.
else.
Yep.
I mean, when it comes to your life, yes, they should.
Well, they want more autonomy for kids when it comes to, all the stuff that they shouldn't have autonomy in. But when it comes to like actually teaching kids to use guns like they used to in schools, like there are pictures from the 50s and 60s where
Yep.
middle schoolers are learning to shoot. Like they're learning marksmanship. They are competing with each other. I think that's such a great idea, and I wish that we hadn't gotten rid of that.
Yeah, welding as well.
Yeah,
things
same
like
idea.
that, carpentry and
Yeah.
Swords.
sword fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we did that in
Swords
college.
101 with Professor Poole.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Well, no, James Lindsay.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I'm
of
like
course.
Yeah,
way more.
he's like trained with the Gian.
Yeah.
I'm
has
way
a
more
class.
bullish on gun rights for kids because after this Texas thing, man, the cops stopped them from going in and stopping it. Like, you left these kids to their own devices in a classroom as they were getting mowed down. I am not comfortable with that.
Yo, something weird is going on there because, like, the left is entertaining conspiracy theories about what happened.
Yeah.
Tell me one.
Well,
Everyone
the cops,
is.
Yeah,
the
what do you
cops
mean?
aren't cooperating anymore with the investigation. The police stopped the intervention, and so the left is like, "What is going on?" Well, it serves their narrative because they hate cops, right? So when you have a story about the cops barring parents from saving their kids and not going in themselves, they're like, what's this all about?" Then you've got the one of the guys involved, one of the cops, I guess, got a seat on the city council or something. So the left has been pushing these conspiracy theories.
Well, also, I mean, what happened there is the perfect example of what gun control does. The police stop law-abiding citizens from protecting themselves and people they care about, while the maniac who kills people still doesn't and gets away with it. And that is the function that those police officers served in that instance.
Yeah.
I'm like, obviously it'd be ridiculous to give a third grader the right to open carry a handgun.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
in the presence of a supervised adult that is licensed,
Right.
maybe that you could legalize their ability to handle one for training purposes. And then if it hits the fan, and it's wartime in the classroom like it was in Texas last week, these young soldiers can defend themselves.
Young soldiers.
They have no other choice at that point. My God, a girl smeared blood on her face and laid down so that she looked dead so that she didn't get killed. Jeez. I would have rather that she dove for a handgun and ended the guy.
No one else is going to do it. And I have to say that I think that the only way out of this is to teach everyone responsibility. And I do mean everyone. The only way to stop active shooters like this is to make them understand that if they walk into a shop or a store that they hope to rob or a bank, they will be met with lethal force. There is no other way out. I'm sorry to say it. That is the way of the world. We've been very protected. We've lived in like this marshmallow utopia for a really long time. We have a hard time seeing hard truths.
It is interesting to see like my friends who are all posting stuff about like ACAB in like 2020 now saying like, well, no, you don't need a gun. The cops are going to show up and they're going to save you.
And then the cops, in an instance where the cops didn't show up and save them.
I was like, it's a horrible example. This is like it's like if this was like if this was a movie about the police, this would be like the opposite of a movie. It's like they're actually the worst people on earth.
You got to speak their language. Here's what I say to them. Do you think that police are racist? Well, of course,
They'll
yes,
say
they
yes,
say.
yeah.
Okay. Do you think that white supremacists will give up their guns if the guns are made illegal? No, of course they won't. Okay. Do you think racist cops will enforce the law against white supremacists who refuse to give up their guns? And they say, yeah, of course they won't. Do you think that police will use the justification of gun checks to raid and violate the Fourth Amendment rights of black people? Well, yeah. So you're saying you want to pass a law that you think that racists won't enforce against other racists, but will be weaponized against black and brown people?
Yeah, sounds good.
I mean, that's the entirety of their narrative. Cops are racist. Cops protect other racists. Cops arbitrarily enforce against black people. So they want laws. And I said, you know what's going to happen? I was like, so what? A racist cop can go to any black person's home and just say, gun check because you passed the red flag laws. But I don't have any guns. Well, we got to search their house. Too bad. Yeah. I'm like, is that what you're advocating for?
I mean,
all gun control is racist.
Well, left-wing positions don't involve that much forethought. Here's what's required. You say, I have good intentions. Pass my law. Okay, well, what is your law going to result in? I have good intentions.
That's right.
Okay, what is the law going to do? How do you enforce it? All of the concerns you mentioned are those yours, but I want good thing. And then
I have questions about good thing, Seamus.
You want bad thing.
Yeah.
You want bad thing.
I don't want
you
bad
want
thing.
bad thing. You ask questions
Why
about good thing.
do
You want
you
bad.
want
That is
bad
literally
thing?
the entire strategy. Why do you want bad thing?
Yeah.
Tim Pool is on the cover of the newspaper the next day. Man want bad thing. It's totally insane. And basically the whole idea is let's look at policy based on the intentions and not the results or the incentives that said policy creates.
Culturally, can this be a multifaceted approach? Like I'm all with you on the gun side too, but NPR 2-3 years ago did a mass shootings can be contagious research shows, which is extremely indicative of the way the media covers it too. Yes. Like, can we all get on the same page of how we're covering this sort of stuff? Like, you have to talk about it.
There are people in media who want to shock to make money. So they're not going to tell you the truth. They're then going to accuse us of trying to shock to make money.
But the fact that they will show the face and the name of these murderers when what they want is attention.
Right.
And they'll
What are
say,
people
here's
gonna
his
recognize?
manifesto, read it. Everything that he wanted. Here you go.
Well, worse still is what happens is when the manifesto comes out and clearly the person's insane, the media will latch onto anything that smears the right.
Yeah.
So like here's a guy in was it Buffalo, I think,
Yeah.
who said he was a communist. He outright said it's like I'm authoritarian left, and they're like he's right wing. Like, well, he was racist,
Interesting.
but you know,
No, he was crazy.
The ADL says racism is right wing. I'm not even kidding. If a racist attacks someone, it's listed as a right wing attack. So it's funny, like the ADL says right wing is anti-government. Right wing is like
Bad. They want bad thing.
right. but
So,
it's like
racism bad, therefore racism right wing.
But here's the if a black nationalist who commits a racist murder is left wing, and the left was like, what? Like, how is that left wing? Ask the ADL. It's like black and white are left and right, I guess. That's how they
So
categorize
if,
things.
if an Asian commits a hate crime against a Hispanic, is that right wing or left wing?
Ooh.
That would probably
North.
not be listed on the ADL's website.
North.
Yeah, north. Yeah.
No, I don't know. North.
Yeah.
They just put a question mark on the map.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't know what that means, and we're not going to engage with it. But we've had black nationalist killings. We had one in Brooklyn, and they say it's left wing. It's like, but those guys have the same ideology as Hitler. Well, you know, he was black though. It's like, okay. But the white dude who hates the government, like leftists hate the Antifa are anarchists. No, I shouldn't say that. Many left-wing anarchists hate the government, and they're left, like they're you know anarcho-communists or whatever. But if the person doesn't explicitly explain that they're socialists, it's right-wing.
Yep.
Okay, dude.
I feel like a hurricane, as a tornado of identity politics ripped my brain out of my body in the last like 37 minutes. Did you guys feel like that?
That was a great phrase.
It's
Yeah, I like
it's
that.
just the identity politics are thick in this one.
Yeah.
I don't know how to respond to it because I can't. I feel like no, it's one of those things where like acknowledging it causes it. I don't think that's it. I think we do have to acknowledge the division, but I don't know. I don't know.
Is it identity politics to acknowledge that specific political groups are trying to do things that they've outwardly stated they're trying to do?
If you just assume everyone in the group is like adheres to the group authority, it is.
So if 10 people walk into a bank and they're all wearing the same outfits and they all came in the same truck, and then 9 of them commit a bank robbery, and the last guy's like, "You go get them, guys," and then you're like, "You're all bank robbers." He goes, "I didn't do anything," or would they get arrested as charged as accomplice?
He was if he was the driver.
No, just someone who was with
Hanging
them.
out.
How
He
bad
was
would
just
your luck
standing
be?
there outside.
A group of 10 people
Wearing the
walk
same
into
outfit?
a bank all wearing the same clothes. 9 of them commit the robbery, and the 10th one just stands there watching and cheers them on.
He thought it was a flash mob, maybe.
Yeah.
How bad would your luck be if you just happen to be wearing the same clothing as the bank robbers that day, and you walk in and they start robbing? You're like, wait a minute.
You ever see the Thomas Crown Affair?
No.
When like the guy steals the painting and everyone's dressed in the same clothes, and so they're all moving around and like everyone's like, "Where'd you go? It's him. No, he's there. He's there." Like there's just like some random guy who's wearing the same clothes and is like, "Ah, crap."
It's
Like,
tough
you're right.
when it's tough when we talk about the Democrats or like the left because I know there's people that are Democrat that aren't crazy, and then same with the right.
Right, but that's why we
There's-
say they're NPCs. Because if at this point you're like, you know, Jimmy Dore had a segment, the Young Turks were ragging on him because he was like, if you're anti-war, you vote for Trump. And I'm like, that is objectively true.
Yeah.
Correct.
Trump didn't start any new wars, and he was pulling our troops out of the Middle East. Joe Biden started a new war. Well, I shouldn't blame him for starting a new war. I say he put our troops back into these existing wars like Syria, and now we have Ukraine, and they're sending money and funds. So it's like, oh, more new wars happening. I can't blame him. That's on Russia. But if you voted for Trump, you have Abraham Accords. What is it? Was it Israel and the UAE with a free trade agreement? I think.
Yeah.
That's
I
crazy.
believe it was the two. Yeah.
That was almost none of my friends had heard anything about that. When we talked about
not.
when we talked about this, and they're like, "Why would you?" First of all, I didn't tell them who I voted for. They just kind of assumed whoever I might have voted for because I didn't post Biden memes and talk about that stuff. And I just asked them, I was like, "Do you have any idea about either the Abraham Accords or the progress we've made in the Middle East or North Korea?" And they're just like, "He's racist." And I'm like, I can't engage.
Oh wow, he is. What did he say?
I tried to explain to them the example. I was like, the thing, like you mentioned with Brandon Strzok about what was that with insulting For me, it was the MS-13 gang members and how they framed how he said it as all members, all people from Mexico. And it was like when I saw the clip, it was so egregious. I'm like, you have to be at least somewhat aware, but most people aren't going to take the time to actually look into it. So you can't.
I always just Socratic method or. People say like, yeah, well, Trump's a racist. They'll go, oh, really?
Oh yeah.
What did he do?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just like, I don't know.
That's crazy.
I had a
So you don't know that he did anything racist?
Here's another good art school story. I was having a conversation with somebody, and they mentioned that they thought Trump was racist against immigrants, and I pointed out that immigrant was not a race, and they said that we should stop talking politics.
What usually happens is I'll say, like, what do you mean? If they'll say something like Trump is racist against Muslims or whatever.
Yeah, they'll mention the Muslim ban.
I'll be like, Muslim's not a race. Like, do you mean religious? And they'll be like, oh yeah, he's like bigoted against religions. And I'll be like, oh, but the countries that he banned is like Venezuela was included on that list. And they'll be like, well, that was a red herring. I'll be like, oh, you think that he was just like, it was a conspiracy? Like he was pretending to ban Venezuela so that he could secretly ban Muslims, and that was like a plot? And they'll be like, well, I'll be like, I don't know. Is that what you think? Like, the government was secretly plotting to ban Muslims, so they pretended to ban people from Venezuela. Is that what happened? I just don't. I think it's just a simple answer. It's like Trump banned a bunch of countries because the Obama administration's DOJ or State Department said that there was risks there. But whatever, man. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.